Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we open our episode. As with His name also, we're coming to the conclusion of our series of Eternal Message. Allah alone, whom we all worship, for He is the only one worthy of worship, and we praise. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have blessed us throughout the series, and that He has guided us to the truth and allowed us to say the truth, and that everything that we have said is put on our scale to be for our benefit Yawm al-Qiyamah. I pray that we will live as Muslims and die as believers and be resurrected Yawm al-Qiyamah as one of the best of muhsineens. I welcome you back to our final episode, our finale of Eternal Message. I appreciate you being with us all along. It could not have happened if it was not for you to be with us after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'd like to thank my companions here that have been very patiently sitting with us, sharing their ideas, their smiles and their joy. Brother Akmal from Malaysia, and Brother Noor from Indonesia, and Brother Abdul Fattah from the United States, originally from Egypt, and Brother Ibrahim from Guinea-Conakry, natively from Sierra Leone. And you, the person in front of the screen that we love, and your host, Abdulhakeem Ali from Yemen. We talked in the last episode about hellfire, and I know that when the episode ended, there was heavy hearts. Most of us sat at awe and felt the pain and fear. But today's episode, as good things have to come to an end, we'll end it with the greatest that we look forward to: paradise, Jannah. When the believers finish their questioning with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they come with the book, as we have said in the recent episode, and they say, "Ha umuqra'u kitabiyah," here, read my book. "Inni dhanantu anni mulaqin hisabiyah," I was sure that I would find my judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directs them to the bridge and it lights the way for them. A bridge that is so thin, that is thinner than a piece of hair and sharper than a sharp sword. There will be light in front of them and they will cross that bridge. By the way, there's hypocrites behind them and their light will be dim and they will go dark and they will scream, "Nuruna naqtabis min nurikum," wait so we can get some of your light. But the believers are too anxious and not willing to wait. "Qila irji'u wara'akum faltamisu nura," go back to your initial life and find your light there. We have found our light, brothers and sisters, believers of the both genders. We found our light and we're heading towards heaven. The first station after crossing the bridge over hell is to get to a pond where we will be cleansed from everything that is a fault. Because in Jannah, only the pure and clean is to enter. And then we will be taken into another pond. That pond, which is called Al-Hawd, Hawd al-Mustafa alayhi salatu wassalam, the pond of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He will be there waiting for us, brothers and sisters. He will be there waiting with the drinks in His hands. He will give us the drinks with His own hands, and the angels with Him helping. They're serving us, and we will drink a drink that will never feel thirsty again. Never. We will never fear the thirst again. And then we will follow after every Muslim and believer that's meant to go to heaven drink. The Rasul ﷺ will be ahead of us to Jannah. He will knock on the gate of heaven. Ridwan will answer. Who is it? He would say, Muhammad ibn Abdullah. He said, for you I was ordered to open. He will open the gate, and we will go into Jannah. And Jannah has 8 gates, my brothers and sisters. Each gate has a name. For there's a gate for those who are known to fast. Does anyone know what that name is of that gate?
Ridwan. Rayhan.
Rayyan. Babul Rayyan. And there is a gate for those who prayed. And for those who did Hajj. Special gates. In fact, Abu Bakr said to the Rasul ﷺ one day, he said, Ya Rasulullah, is it possible that one person can enter from all the gates? He said, yes, and I wish it to be you. Or I hope that you will be one of them. We enter Jannah. Do you know what Jannah is, brothers? I cannot explain it. I'll just try to make it simple to you. It is said Jannah is a place where no eyes have ever seen, and no ears have ever heard of, and it has never occurred to a human's heart of what's in there. فِيهَا مَا لَا عَيْنٌ رَأَتْ. What's in it? What no eyes have ever seen. وَلَا أُذُنٌ سَمِعَتْ. What no ears have ever heard. وَلَا خَطَرَ عَلَى قَلْبِ بَشَرٍ. And it never occurred to a human's heart. In Jannah, brothers and sisters, you will never feel thirsty or hungry again. You will eat, yes. And you will drink, yes. But not out of hunger or thirst. You will be eating and drinking just out of pleasure. There's castles and mansions in there. Each mansion is made out of bricks. Each brick is either gold or silver. Can you imagine a house built with bricks of gold and silver? The ground is made of pearls and emeralds. In fact, the tents in Jannah are as vast as your eyes can see, and as high as the sky can go. In Jannah, my brothers and sisters, is levels also. Just like hell is levels down, Jannah is levels up. Between each level and the other is a distance of 500 years. Don't try to be on the lowest level. Aim high so you can make sure to make it there. In Jannah, my brothers and sisters, it's a garden full of trees that is shaded. There will never be a sun to burn your skin. And there will never be a winter to freeze your body. The temperature is settled and it's all pleasure. There's no pain. In Jannah, my brothers and sisters, if you wish to eat, all you have to do is wish it. And it's there. The way you like it. In the hadith, a bird will fly, a pigeon, and you would wish it. And it will be right in front of you. You want it broiled? Automatically. Broiled? It's there. You want it barbecued? It's there. Grilled, which I love? It's there. You find all of that just by wishing it. One of the things that always I remind myself, in Tafsir ibn Kathir, in the book of Ibn Kathir, the interpretations of the Quran, in Surah Yasin, when he said, إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون. And the ayah says, indeed, that the people of heaven are today busy. They and their families are sitting on their sittings, on their couches, enjoy. He said that one will come to visit his friend, which I intend to do to all of you, inshallah.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
And then the servants will answer, and he will say, where is so-and-so? I came to visit him. And he will be answered, he's busy with his family. How beautiful it is to say, he's busy with his family because you're enjoying yourself. Mm-hmm. What family are we talking about? Family beyond this family that you have today. Yes, this family, if they're righteous, they will follow you and they will be enjoying like you do. But let me just describe to you the spouse that you will have in Jannah. If you are a man, your spouse in Jannah will be more beautiful than you can ever imagine. If she was to show her face in today's life, we will not see the brightness of the sun. She will be more bright than the sun itself. If a piece of hair of hers was to be dropped to this earth, everyone on earth will smell the scent of that hair. She will wear 70 dresses, and you'll still see through the dresses the whiteness and beauty of her skin. And if your spouse in Jannah is a man, he will be the most handsome man that you've ever seen. And he's not going to stay in one shape at all times. He's 60 feet tall. The beauty of Yusuf, which Yusuf alayhi salam was the most beautiful man ever created. He has half of the beauty while all the rest of the human beings have the other half. Everybody in Jannah is as beautiful as Yusuf was. And not all alike. They're beautiful within their own ways. And in fact, in the hadith, every Friday, they return from their meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with new figures. Mm-hmm. Imagine having a husband, every Friday, he has a different figure. His stomach doesn't go out. His hair doesn't go gray. And he doesn't frown at all. But he comes with a better figure than the one the week before. And you, when he looks at you, he tells you, you have never looked more beautiful. This is Jannah. It's not a joke. You want to be beautiful? Then work to go to Jannah. After the break, we'll put our final touches on this topic and our final touches on the series. May Allah bless you and all. Stay put, for the ending is just about to come. I'll see you after the break.
Huda TV strives to bring you, our viewers, the best in Islamic programming. Please send your comments and suggestions to feedback@huda.tv.
Welcome back to our show, our final finale of our series, Eternal Message, which we are touching the topic of heaven, our final home, paradise. Before I come to my final touches, my brother Noor had a question during the break, which I would appreciate if he asked.
Okay, is it right the Muslim who committed a mistake or the sin in our life now, he will be punished in hereafter in hell? Depend on the sin that he did, and after that he will be brought to heaven.
Inshallah, that will be my final say-so in this program. Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, if you have died as a Muslim, one day you will enter heaven. But we don't want you to spend a moment in hell. We want you to spend your time in heaven. This is Jannah. This is where you have servants serving you. The servants themselves are like pearls. وِلْدَانٌ مُخَلَّدُونَ. They are there forever. Your wives يوم القيامة كاللؤلؤ المنثور, like the pearl that has so beauty in it, that is protected, like the eggs that is perfect. بيض مكنون. Yeah, it is protected. يوم القيامة, my brothers and sisters, one of the beautiful things is that you get to see how you escaped from hell. While we're sitting in there, you remember that you had a friend, but that friend is nowhere to be found. So you look out and you see him in hellfire and you say, إِنِّي كَانَ لِي قَرِينٌ يَقُولُ أَإِنَّكَ لَمِنَ الْمُصَدِّقِينَ. I had a friend that used to criticize me. Are you among the believers? Look where he's at. And look where you're at. Be careful who you sit with. And make sure that the ones that you sit with will share the place with you in heaven. الْأَخِلَّاء يَوْمَئِذٍ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ عَدُوٌ إِلَّا الْمُتَّقِينَ. All friends are enemies at each other except those who have taqwa. Choose your friends. We're talking about heaven. We're not talking about something simple that you can move from. An apartment or a mansion that you can sell in exchange. We're talking about heaven. We're talking about a day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks, and He said, وَأُزْلِفَتِ الْجَنَّةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Uzlifat is brought close to those who have taqwa. وَأُزْلِفَتِ الْجَنَّةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ هَذَا مَا تُوعَدُونَ لِكُلِّ أَوَّابٍ حَفِيظٍ. This is what you are promised if your heart was responding. Let me tell you something, brothers and sisters out there. To come to our conclusion of our series, I could talk about heaven from now and forever. And all the pleasures that you and I, inshallah, will share is nothing compared to the ultimate pleasure of seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will be given that opportunity to see your Lord, to see Him every Friday, to speak to Him, and He speaks to you. In Surah Qaf, He says, وَلَدَيْنَا مَزِيد. And we have more. Our scholars have agreed that more is seeing Him. وُجُوهٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ نَاظِرَةٌ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهَا نَاظِرَةٌ. Faces will be enlightened and brightened on that day because it is looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't miss this opportunity. And look at the faces of Pharaoh in hell, or Malik that is over your head making sure that you're punished, or Abu Jahl and Abu Lahab. You're missing the opportunity to be a neighbor of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In Jannah, you will be a neighbor of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. A man came to the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I go home and I remember that we will enter Jannah and you are at the above levels of Jannah, and I see myself less than that and I feel saddened. He's saddened because he's going to miss the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. While he's in Jannah, the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Al-mar'u ma'a man ahab. The person is with those who he loves. Love those who are righteous, and you will be with them. Imam al-Shafi'i once said, he said, أُحِبُّ الصَّالِحِينَ وَلَسْتُ مِنْهُمْ. I love those who are righteous even though I'm not like them. لَعَلِّي أَنْ أَنَالَ بِهِمْ شَفَاعَةً. Because maybe I might get their interceding. وَأَكْرَهُ مَنْ تِجَارَتَهُ الْمَعَاصِي. And I hate those that their products that they give is sins. وَإِن كُنَّا سَوِيًّا فِي الْبِضَاعَةِ. Even if we were alike. Brothers and sisters, you can choose your path. I'd like to remind you of the series that we have had. We talked about at-Tawheed in its forms. And I want you to know that if you die saying La ilaha illallah sincerely from your heart, you will enter Jannah inshaAllah. So make sure you do so. We talked about a shirk. Then it is that one sin that will prevent you forever from going to heaven. So be aware. Look out for yourself. Make sure you have not committed a shirk, a partner that you have chosen to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make sure you have not associated with Allah anything else or anyone else. We talked about the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through our series. So we can bring into our life the life of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His names and attributes. That He can be real within us and we can be truthful with our faith. We talked about death, so we can prepare ourselves for our entrance to heaven. We talked about the grave. We talked about the day of judgment and the standing on that day and the questioning and the escape from the friends and families. We heard about hell and the screams and tortures and the pains and agonies and the depression and loss of hope. And we put a final touch of heaven. We're meant and destined to be good if you have done well and willing to do so. And it can be a destiny for worse if you're reckless and irresponsible. Brothers and sisters out there, wherever you are, Islam is a simple religion. There's nothing complicated within it. All it wants you to do is be a good person. You and I, if we were to sit and talk about the sins, we'll agree that they're evil. So stay away from them. It did not ask you to get out of your course of humanity, but it's trying to bring you back into humanity, because those who did not believe, they're like the creatures of animals. أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they are like the cattle, but worse, for the cattle have believed. When you walk away from the truth, you've lost contact with your humanity, and you've lost a great deal of your family yawm al-qiyamah, if they are to go to heaven and you're not. You've lost a great deal in missing a place that there is no sight that have ever seen and no ear has ever heard, and it never occurred to a person's heart. Questions are many, I know that you might have, and probably our series have created more and more. And I know the brothers here would wish to show their gratitude to you for being with us throughout all these days. I know I want to show my gratitude. You've made my life better by allowing me to learn and to prepare and to sit in front of you to share the words of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, or the perfection of the verses of the Quran al-Kareem.
May I ask you something?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Can we, as a Muslim, save our families, our parents from the hellfire or something?
We can start saving our families today by holding on to their hands and preventing them from harming themselves. Let us not wait, brothers and sisters, to the day of judgment to try to save ourselves and families, because it might just be too late. Unsur akhak zaliman aw madluman. Give victory and protect your brother, whether he is abused or the aggressor. But on that day also, you can protect your families. Those who memorize the Quran al-Kareem will have their parents wearing a throne. Those who sacrifice their lives for the sake of Islam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will intercede for 70 of their family members. Those who have done righteous good deeds, they will be allowed at some period of time to intercede. Pray every Friday for the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Say, Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Rasulillah. And may the blessings and mercy be showered on the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. For whoever prays for the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would earn the right to have his interceding yawm al-qiyamah. أكثر الناس حقا بشفاعتي من صلى علي. The people that have more rights over towards my intercedings are those who pray for me. Yes, Brother Ibrahim.
Yes, is it possible to repair the marriage in Jannah?
Those who die and they had a wife or a husband, they had a spouse, and they died both being righteous and they loved each other, they will be bonded in the day of judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran al-Kareem in Surah Al-Dhariyat, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَاتَّبَعَتْهُمْ ذُرِّيَّتُهُمْ بِإِيمَانٍ أَلْحَقْنَا بِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ وَمَا أَلَتْنَاهُمْ مِنْ عَمَلِهِمْ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. And those who believed and their families followed them with faith, we will have their families follow them to heaven, and none of their actions will be lost. Yes, if a woman had a husband that she cared for and loved, He will be her mate Yawm al-Qiyamah if he is intended and meant to go to heaven. And if a husband had a wife that he loved and cared for, make sure you don't lose her in this life so you can lose her in the hereafter. No. Make sure that you guide her. It is your responsibility. Qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Brothers and sisters, Qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Protect yourself and your family from hellfire. Let me repeat this. Look at me while I'm looking at you. Protect yourself and your family from hellfire. Bring yourself forward to speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannah. Jannatin arduha as-samawati wal-ard u'iddat, prepared for al-muttaqeen, those who avoided the sins, those who allowed Allah to see them where they're supposed to and did not let Allah see them where they're not supposed to. Coming to an end in our last 30 seconds of this program, again, I would like to thank you for being with us through this series of eternal message, the message of life, the message of La ilaha illallah. I've given you the key in learning, so please take the opportunity and utilize your time. If you have any questions, Al-Huda channel is always there. There's a program called Ask Huda. Pick up the phone and you'll get your answer, or ask your nearest sheikh or scholar that you have. I'm your host, Abdulhakeem Ali. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I hope to see you on other occasions. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.